What's up guys, my name is Coexist and today we're going to learn how to install SoftEther VPN Server onto Ubuntu 16.04 or 16.10. Why use SoftEther? Well, there's a couple of different reasons. First of all, as far as the pros go, it's open source and free, requires absolutely no license, it supports many popular VPN protocols, and allows unlimited connections. The cons, however, is that it's not as easy to install as OpenVPN Access Server. The default configuration is not suitable for use as we intended. Before you install, there's a couple of things you need to consider. Number one being who will host your server. There are many VDS or VPS providers out there. Make sure that you choose a provider that will be able to suit your needs. If you need DDoS protection, you should probably go with NFO servers. Or if you want a cheap server that's actually pretty good for the money, then you should try Vultr. Also, keep in mind that for SoftEther to run smoothly, it's recommended that you have a server with a CPU clock speed of at least 2 GHz or higher. If your server doesn't have the above clock speed, you may experience delays and the throughput of the server will decrease. So, once you've got your server, all you need to do is SSH into that server. If you've seen any other of my tutorials, then you've probably seen this before. However, with Linux, all you need to do is open up a terminal and SSH into your server. Or if you're on Windows, you just need to download and install PuTTY. Either way, once you've made a successful connection to your server, you will then need to copy and paste the install script to a blank document on the server. So in the description below, I've left a script that will automatically install SoftEther to your server, as well as create a startup script. Simply copy and paste this into a new text file, for example, nano install, and then just simply right click into the terminal and it'll paste it, or if you're on Linux, you can do Control-Shift-V. Then, to run it, you just need to change permissions and type what you see on the screen, which is chmod 755 star and/install. Pretty simple. There is some user input that you might need to do, but I'm going to go ahead and show you this real fast. So first, I'm just going to bring up my terminal right here. So I'm going to do SSH root @ grab my IP address because I unfortunately don't know it by heart. And you're going to want to accept that and then type in your root password, which hopefully is secure. So once you're in, all you need to do is nano install and it'll bring up something like this. Alright, so now you need to grab one of the install scripts. Mine is going to be Ubuntu. So I'll just copy it. And in Linux you can right click paste or Control-Shift-V, and on Windows you just simply right click. And you'll see this. Now if it leaves some space after IPsec, go ahead and just backspace until your cursor is right here, just to make sure that there's no issues with that. Then you'll want to Control X and then save the modified buffer and hit enter. Alright, then we need to do change the permissions and run the script. So chmod 755 star, because there's nothing else in my root folder, so star will be okay, and /install. Now you're going to be prompted, this will install SoftEther. Do you want to proceed? Yes. So what it's going to do is it's going to update the server for you. Depending on how outdated the server is or what kind of software is pre-installed, there might be a lot that you need to do. However, for me, it's only 15 megabytes, so we'll just go ahead and hit yes and let that download. Alright, once it's installed, you're going to be installing the check install and build essential packages, which will contain the appropriate software needed to make SoftEther, because when you download it for Linux, you only get the source code. So we'll want to download and install that. Again, the script will do it for you. You just have to watch and confirm any user input. Once that's completed, it's going to download SoftEther from one of their web servers. And then we're just going to hit 1 on our keyboard and hit enter for each of these questions. So do you want to read the license agreement? You can hit yes. If you want, it'll just print it and then say, did you read and understand? Yes. And then do you agree? Yes. Once that's done, it's going to create a system daemon and then register that. And then now, hopefully, if everything goes correctly, it's going to say the SoftEther VPN server started, or server service has been started. Sorry. So once you've gotten it installed, you can pretty much at this point just close out of your terminal. You don't need to do anything on the server side anymore. So now you just need to download the SE-VPN Server Manager. So you can do this. I've linked it into the description. This program will also work on Linux if you have Wine installed and configured. So I've got mine located in my downloads folder, I do believe. Here it is, VPN Manager. And then you'll just use VPN's mgr.exe. And voila, here we are. So now, all you need to do is add your new VPN server to the manager. So once you've launched it and see that it works properly, click New Setting right here. You can just type in VPN Server. The host name is going to be your server's IP address. And then just click OK. Now all we need to do is initialize the server. And of course everything from here on will be done visually, since trying to explain it on a PowerPoint slide would be kind of difficult. So all I need to do is double click it once you've added it. And it's going to pop up and say you need to set a new password. So we'll go ahead and do that. And then hit enter. It'll say the password's been changed. By default, it'll bring up this page right here. It'll say SoftEther VPN Server /bridge easy setup. You'll want to click the first one here that's saying Remote Access VPN Server. We're not doing a site-to-site or VPN bridge, so we'll just disregard that. Tick the first one and click Next. And then yes. Virtual hub name, unless you're dealing with multiple ones, just leave this as VPN. Here's your dynamic DNS. You can hold onto this if you want to. So we'll just go ahead and copy that, just for my records. Because sometimes if you have other people that you want to connect to your server, you don't want to hand out the IP address, then you can give them that. Once you're done, click Exit. All right, now the next thing that's going to pop up is this IPsec and L2TP. If you want to use a computer or phone on this VPN without having to install any software to it, then you can enable this. And of course, you'll leave this at VPN, and then you can choose to leave this pre-shared keys VPN if you'd like. But L2TP and IPsec will be compatible with most modern devices, so you wouldn't need to download anything from the App Store. So if you want this enabled, just tick this box. Make sure this is set to your virtual hub, and then you make yourself your own pre-shared key, and you can just use VPN because you still have to have user accounts as well, so that's not just the password. So you can click OK. VPN is 0, you won't be using that, so you can disable it and click OK. Now you can create some users. So I'll create myself, type in a secure password, and hit enter. If you want to add your friends or anyone else to your server, you just repeat this exact same process. Once you're done with your users, click Exit, and then you can close out of this Easy Setup Tasks window. From here, we're almost done. We just need to do one final thing. We're going to need to double click on our Virtual Hub VPN and go down here to Virtual NAT and enable Secure NAT, and then click OK. Once you've done that, you can click Exit and Exit. And at this point, you're pretty much done setting up the server. So now, actually, we're going to go ahead and stop that. Alright, so now we're going to connect to the server via the SoftEther client. Now, the first thing you need to do is download and install the SE client. That link is below in the description. Once you do that, all you have to do is launch it and add your new connection. and then double click it to connect to it. So pretty simple, but what we'll go ahead and do is I'll go ahead and show you that real quick. So what you need to do is you need to navigate yourself to SoftEther-download.com. At this component here, you'll want to go to SoftEther VPN client. Your platform is Windows. And then I recommend downloading version 4.20 because that is their latest support release, and it's also their latest release that is stable. So we'll just save link as, save it right on the desktop. We'll just let that download. Once that's done, just launch the installer, run. Here you want to click next, and yes, if UAC pops up. From here you want to select the VPN client. You won't need any of these tools because you've already got the manager downloaded. So you hit next, you'll agree to the EULA, and then hit next again, and again. Once it installs the VPN client service, all you'll need to do is launch the SoftEther VPN client and add your new server. So you'll click finish, and you'll be presented with this window. Now all you need to do is double click add VPN connection, and it'll tell you that before you can create a VPN connection, you'll need to create a virtual adapter. So we can go ahead and click yes to create one. We can leave that as VPN. And this window here will pop up. Every once in a while it'll look like the program freezes. That's actually normal because it's still working in the background, but Windows just is being Windows. So let it sit for a bit. If you don't see that box and it seems like the program is crashed, it's probable that the program is actually creating the adapter, but you just didn't see that display. So just let it sit for a minute again, and it should go through. So once that's been created, you'll notice this pops up down here at the bottom. So now you'll just want to double click add VPN connection again, and then you can just start adding your server details. Now I kept a hold of my DDNS so I wouldn't have to type my IP address every time. To find your DDNS, you just launch your VPN manager, double click on your connection, and then you'll see it listed down here at the bottom. Alright, so you'll do that, and then you'll type in your username and your password, and then click OK. Now to connect, you just double click, and if everything goes well, it'll tell you your new assigned IP address is this, and then you should be able to surf the web and appear from that server. So we'll just go ahead and head over to ipinfo.io if Chrome doesn't crash. And you'll see we are definitely connected to the server because here's my IP address and my location is apparently Chicago. Alright. So that's pretty simple, nothing much to it. Now I'm going to go ahead and show you how to connect via L2TP. Go ahead, get rid of that. Alright. We'll go ahead and show you L2TP and then OpenVPN. I know it's kind of backwards, but yeah, anyways. For L2TP, it's really simple. The main thing you need to note is that you need to make sure that the L2TP function is enabled on the server. So to check that, you just go to your server manager, connect to your server, and make sure that you've enabled it right here. So again, it's down here at the bottom, IP and IPsec and L2TP. Just make sure you've ticked that box there. You're pretty much good to go. So on Windows 7, on Windows 10, it's a little different. You can actually just go to your settings and then type in VPN, and you'll actually be able to add it there. But for Windows 7, you need to open your network and sharing center and then connect to a network. Well, I'm sorry, set up a new connection, click connect to a workplace, and then next. You're going to use your internet connection. The internet address can either be your IP address or your DDNS. We'll just call it VPN connection. You can go ahead and click this if you have other people on this machine that can want to connect to that, and then you don't want to connect right now. You'll set it up so you can connect to it later. So then you'll type in your username, followed by your password, and then you can click create. And then close, because we're not quite done yet. There's still something else we need to do. So then you'll want to click this link here that says change adapter settings. Right click on VPN connection and go to properties. Over here you'll want to go to security, change type of VPN to L2TP, and then you'll want to click advanced settings and tick this radio button and put VPN or your IPsec pre-shared key. Hit OK, then OK again. Now all you have to do is either right click connect here, or you can click your network indicator and connect here as well. So again, you can type in your password and hit enter. If everything goes well, Windows will tell you that it's connected, and we can actually go back to Chrome or Internet Explorer, whatever you use, just to make sure that your IP address has actually changed. Again, I highly recommend that you verify that your IP has changed. And as you can see here, we are connected again. So now we'll go ahead and disconnect from that, and I'll go ahead and show you OpenVPN. Alright, so the first thing you need to do is download the OpenVPN config using the SE-VPN manager. This config is general, so if you had a different user, then you could download this config once and then email it to them and tell them to sign in with their user account, so on and so forth. So you need to download the config using the SE-VPN manager, and then download and install OpenVPN GUI. So as far as getting your OpenVPN config, because without it OpenVPN won't work, you just simply use your VPN manager, connect to your server, and then down here on the bottom right you'll see OpenVPN and MS SSTP. So right here in the middle you'll see generate a sample configuration. You'll click that and you can just save it to your desktop, and then you can hit yes or no, doesn't matter. You'll just need to be able to locate that file, and then you can just exit out of this again. Now what you're going to want to be using is remote access L3. You won't be using L2, so if you'll just take L3 here and extract it to your desktop, and then you'll just hold on to this. Now you need to grab OpenVPN, the GUI, by the way. You can access that at openvpn.net. Chrome really doesn't like, why do I have to move it around? That doesn't make sense. Oh well. Go to openvpn.net, head over to community, downloads, community downloads. Then right down here you'll see an installer for Windows Vista and later. That's what you'll want right there. Again, there will be a direct link to this in the description. Alright, so once you start that installer, you can just blaze through that install. Everything on this page will be left alone. And then hit install. It will need to install the tap adapter, so go ahead and hit Always Trust Software from OpenVPN and hit install. Alright, so once it's installed, you can just go ahead and close that installer and launch OpenVPN. Now it'll complain and tell you that there's no connection profiles found, so you can just click OK. You'll notice in your bottom right hand corner you'll see this new icon pop up. All you need to do is click Import, navigate and find your VPN config. So here it is on the desktop. Open, and it'll say it imported successfully. Now all you have to do is click connect, type in your password or your username and password, hit enter, and if everything goes well it'll say initialization service completed, and this window will close and it'll tell you, hey look, you connected. So again, before you do anything online, you'd want to check and make sure that your IP address has changed. So you can head over to ipinfo.io, But as you can tell, we are located in Chicago, Illinois, so we should be good for around here. So at this point, you are done. If you enjoyed this tutorial, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more tutorials such as this. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at iCoexist, and yes, that is a 0 in there because I'm sly and sneaky. Anyways, as always, I'll see you in the next video.